Everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of The Inner Sanctum. Today I'd like to talk about a project known as Phosphorus Burning, a relatively new project from Nottingham, United Kingdom. Phosphorus, in case you don't know, is a mineral found in your body, and along with calcium, it is needed to build strong bones as well as other parts of your body. Burning? Well, I guess we know what burning is, so it makes me wonder if this project's name is a sort of a subtle way of saying bones are on fire, or maybe it's suggesting that a human is wasting away. Either way, a very interesting project name, and quite different from what you usually expect in the dark ambient scene. Phosphorus Burning has been going for a couple years now, and originally debuted back in September of 2019 with an Untitled album, which is also the subject of this review. Late last year, a dark ambient, drone ambient, and noise label known as Skip Area decided to re-release the Untitled album on a limited cassette tape. It's also worth mentioning that Phosphorus Burning is a project whose creator is unknown and has wished to stay anonymous, at least for now. So musically, Phosphorus Burning kind of finds its ground between dark ambient and dark drone sounds. Thematically, it's basically centered around lost ships at sea during the wintertime, and basically it has this small story of people slowly dying while they're on the ships, and those going out to find food and supplies to try and survive, but generally is about death at sea during the wintertime. You could probably compare this album to albums from Lustmord or Svartsen or Kammerheit, anything in that more, what I always say is classic, typical dark ambient style. But what makes this record different is it has this very, very cold feeling to it, and it's almost sort of, I guess, like pulsating kind of feel to it. As you listen to the it slowly evolves, and you can just sort of feel the misery and just the death around you as you listen to this album. This has been an album I have listened to numerous times since I originally downloaded the digital version back in 2009, and I absolutely love this album. This album, somehow or another, became one of my absolute favorite albums to listen to when I had insomnia. This album just seemed to really calm me and just take me to this tranquil place despite the sort of grim theme around it. So a lot of artists do music in this style, there's no doubt about that in the dark ambient scene, but a lot of the artists, they don't hit the mark, so to speak. Phosphorus Burning not only hits the mark, it destroys it. This is a phenomenal album that has been going criminally underrated since its release back in 2019. Yes, the fusion of that sort of classic Lustmord and Kammerheit sound is there, but when intermingled with this much colder feeling, these field recordings and just the whole story set behind the album, which you can read about on the Bandcamp site, is just phenomenal. It really sets a vivid picture in your mind, and as you listen, you can picture yourself on those ships and this wintry world where survival seems pretty bleak, and just you're running out of hope, you're starving, you're so cold, and just, man, it's just massive stuff. Yeah, so if you're into that classic dark ambient sound intermingled with some polar dark ambient characteristics, you are going to love Phosphorus Burning. Believe me, this is an album you need to check out, and it's a bit of a shame that so far this album has gone so unnoticed. It had to be, self-released digitally, and it's just sat there in the Bandcamp site for so many years. But I have to give Skip Area, a great credit for discovering this album and deciding to re-release it in a cassette tape, because it was a brilliant move. Also, just to tell you a little bit about the Skip Area record label, it is a relatively new label, like I said, kind of centering itself around dark ambient, drone, and noise and experimental music. They've had several, limited DIY cassette tapes so far, and this is, at least as far as I'm concerned, probably the best one they've released so far. Just awesome stuff, and I'm really looking forward to the future of this label. Right then, so let's check out this, the layout and the look of this album. So, the front cover, we have this real bleak, landscape shot, really just, it kind of sets a tone right from the get-go. This is just some really bleak stuff you're getting into your hair. There's the back of it, old gray, really cool stuff. There's the cassette tape, and I thought it was kind of interesting because usually you can see the reels on most cassette tapes, but this one you can't, so that's something kind of cool right there. It has this card that kind of gives you a little info about the album. That same information, of course, is on the Bandcamp site. And the J card itself has the track listing. Yeah, so it unfolds to show this whole, really bleak, dark gray landscape shot. Just really cool. I mean, the music just totally like lives up to these images, and just, oh, such a good album, man. Awesome stuff. Finally, there's a small advertisement that comes with this release to tell you a little bit about the Skip Area record label, some of the past releases there, and so on and so forth, and just, yeah. Again, if you've never heard of Skip Area, and it's probably a pretty good chance you never have, I would look up this label. I thought it was interesting too because the label didn't, have like a Bandcamp site or Facebook or any of that, normal nowadays social media kind of stuff, which in one hand will probably hurt them a little bit, but at the other time I gotta give them credit for keeping it old school and just having a website and the internet, which honestly, it's rare for record labels, bands, projects to even have that kind of thing nowadays. Everyone just goes on Facebook or whatever, that's their website, I miss the days when labels had proper websites. I miss just websites in general, really. I hate Facebook, so it's kudos to them for keeping it old school and, keeping it more minimal and, cult, so to speak. The final thought I can also tell you, the cassette tape sounds fantastic, plays great, and it's also interesting because the whole hour-long recording is just on one side of the tape, which is kind of different. You don't see that too often. Well, that'll do it, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you haven't checked out Phosphorus Burning, dude, I implore you guys, check it out. This is awesome, dark ambient drone. You are going to love this recording. Other than that, my name is Joe, signing off. I'll see you next time on The Inner Sanctum.